Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, September 14th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins, and let's get into this busy day of Bay Area sports that we have ahead of us. But first, let's go back to yesterday and talk about the Giants game. So the Giants lost to the Dodgers yesterday. The Dodgers had 13 runs on 17 hits and an error. Giants had 7 runs on 8 hits, no errors. In the first inning of this game, when I was watching it, I thought, oh man, we're actually scoring runs, a lot of runs in the first inning. This could be a chance for us to get a big blowout win. That did not happen, as the Dodgers ended up winning the game. So, very unfortunate that happened. 13-7 was the final score. The win went to Edgardo Hernandez. It was a relief pitcher. He came in, he pitched one inning and struck out the side. And Webby got the loss, his 10th of the year, so he's now 14-10. Um, it was a tough loss, but it's kind of to be expected if you're trying to get into a shootout with the Dodgers. Like, it's not probably not going to end up well for you. Um, so that's what happened. It's a tough loss, and at least we scored 7 runs. It's just the only problem was we gave up 13 runs, so that's the obviously the reason why we lost because they scored more than us. But looking ahead to today, we'll start with the Giants staying there. And the matchup today is a good one. The pitching matchup. It's going to be Tyler Glasnow going for the Dodgers and Robbie Ray going for the Giants. Two great pitchers. One's a righty, one's a lefty. Let's take a look at the stats for each of them. Glasnow, he's 2-3 with a 3.21 ERA on the year. And he was hurt for most of the year, so he's just recently come back. And he's only pitched 75 innings. And meanwhile, Robbie Ray has been healthy throughout the entire year, and he's an all-star. And he is 11-6 with a 3.32 ERA through 173 innings pitched. He has 176 strikeouts, which is 19th in the majors. And when in the first half of the year, Robbie Ray was so dominant, but now it looks like he's still kind of coming back down to earth a little bit. But Verlander has turned it up. Webb is being very consistent, it seems. And if we can get those three, Verlander, Webb, and Ray, to be pitching consistently well throughout the last month of the year, we'll put ourselves in a great position to win a playoff series if we have those three going for us, and Webb, Ray, Verlander. That could be scary if you face those guys in October when they're all dialed in. So looking for a good outing from Robbie Ray today. And I think what I'd like to see is just for him to eat up some more innings, because the last couple of starts, it seems like he's only been able to go 5. If you're taking a look at his last 4, he went 5, 4 2/3, 4 1/3, and then 5. But if you look at everything past that, you're seeing 6, 7. There's even a complete game in there from when I was in Arizona. But at the beginning of the year, it's all 6s and all 7s with a little bit of 5s in there. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for it to go at least 6 or 7 innings, and more or less, um, and just have a good outing. Try and limit the damage. And for the offense, like I said, to score early and score often. Get to that bullpen because the Dodgers starters are really good. But as you can get to the bullpen, that's where they've kind of struggled throughout the year, as we saw in the extra inning game where Bailey hit the grand slam. So that is the Giants. And now moving on to the 49ers, who play the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome at 10 this morning. And there are lots of games going on today, but we're only going to focus on the 49ers because that's what matters most to us here on the Nick Watkins Show. And the big news is that Brock Purdy will not be playing in the game. He's out with a shoulder/toe injury, which means that Mac Jones will be starting today against the Saints. And honestly, if I had to pick any of our opponents this year for Purdy to be out against, it may be the Saints. You could also throw some. We don't play a lot of good teams this year, but it's important to not get complacent. And I think I still feel very confident in Mac Jones. And the reason why I think that is because if you think back to 2021 when the Niners traded up with the Dolphins to take the third overall pick in the draft, Mac Jones was the quarterback that Kyle Shanahan wanted to draft, but he talked himself out of it, and that's how we wound up with Trey Lance. So now Mac Jones ended up on the 49ers as Purdy's backup. And the way I've been explaining it to everyone that I've been, wants to listen is that really Mac Jones is just a less attractive, more skilled Jimmy Garoppolo. And you know how we love Jimmy Garoppolo here on the Nick Watkins Show. He was the quarterback that, when I first started really watching football, obviously there was Kaepernick. That's when I first got into it. There was Smith and then Kaepernick and then a couple dark years. But then there was Garoppolo, and he was kind of the first quarterback that I really appreciated. I got my let me go grab it real quick. Got my Jimmy Garoppolo bobblehead. Jimmy Garoppolo. It's all dusty. It's just been sitting on my his head's kind of broken actually. That's not good. But yeah, I got the Jimmy Garoppolo bobblehead, and yeah, I love Jimmy G. But Mac Jones is just a less attractive, better at football Jimmy G. So that's how I feel about that. I think that, we're going to be just fine. We saw how the offense was for like 2019 to whenever, Purdy came in. And it worked. I mean, two NFC championship appearances, one was a win, one was a loss. It works. It works. What else can I say? So I'm sure we'll be just fine with that for the foreseeable future. Hopefully not too long. And obviously we know that Brock Purdy is better than Mac Jones. Brock Purdy is a fantastic quarterback, but I still have faith in Mac Jones. And I also have faith in the 49ers defense, which I think is the key to the game. Last week, the Niners defense allowed only 13 points, only one touchdown to the Seahawks. And if we can do that today against the Saints, that'll increase the margin for error for the offense so that they don't have to be perfect, but as long as they're good enough, then that is how we'll win the football game. So I think the defense has to be good and the offense just got to score some points, but take care of the football. I think is especially important. You got to take care of the football. No turnovers will be the goal for today, especially no interceptions. So that's not a game. My prediction for the game, I think it's going to be 20-10 49ers. That's the score. Kind of low scoring, but 20-10 is my prediction. And then the last piece that we have to get into here is a playoff game. You might be wondering, well, who's playing the playoffs right now? I mean, baseball hasn't started yet, but the WNBA playoffs start today, September 14th, and the Golden State Valkyries are in the playoffs. They finished the season 23-21, which is the 8th seed in the WNBA. And the way that I'm pretty sure the way WNBA works is that you have the East, but when you have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, just like the NBA, but instead of having two separate conferences for playoff, it's just you know that doesn't matter essentially. It's just whoever has the best record plays the team with the worst record that made the playoffs. So that's kind of how it works, and so unfortunately, that means that we have to go up against the Minnesota Lynx, which is the affiliate of the Timberwolves, and they are the best team in the league. The Lynx, they are very good. They have Nafisa Collier, who, I mean, if I knew about them, I knew about this woman here before the Valkyries even, were playing a game. That's how good she is. I actually knew about her before I actually got into the WNBA. So the Lynx, they're very good. They're 34-10, first in the WNBA. They won the West. Their offense is very good, and the defense is good. But the Valkyries also have a good defense. So it's basically the best offense versus one of the best defenses in the league. And, it's the first year of our existence for the Valkyries. I think, it will be nice to win, but it's also just an accomplishment to even make it to the dance in the first place. And that brings me to my next point, which is the whole stadium controversy issue, whatever you want to call it, that's happening with the Valkyries. And basically what's happening is this. There is an indoor tennis tournament that got scheduled at Chase Center before the Valkyries existed. I will give them that. They did schedule this like 4 years ago before the Valkyries were even a team. So, I guess that could be used as an argument against. I really don't care because what happened is the Valkyries are not going to be able to play their first home playoff game in their history, in their entire existence. The first playoff game will not be played at Chase Center. And the reason that, my tone has kind of gotten so aggressively is this is outlandish. How are you going to not let a playoff team of your team that you are trying to convince the fans of is a good team? It's ridiculous. And you're saying no. Instead of having you play your first playoff game at your arena, you are gonna have to go to San Jose and play at SAP Center. And don't get me wrong, the Shark Tank is a fantastic stadium. I love going there. I love SAP Center. But to not let your team play at the stadium where the facilities are fantastic, it's a great stadium, Chase Center, and say, no, we're prioritizing the indoor tennis tournament over you, and you have to move out and go play in San Jose for your first ever playoff game. It's disrespectful to the fans who have bought into this team and are showing support in their first year of existence. It's disrespectful to the players and the coaches and the whole staff who have put everything on the line to get to this point, and they grinded their asses off to get to this point and make it. And now you're saying, no, we are prioritizing an indoor tennis tournament over you. And basically what they're saying is, no, we're prioritizing the money over you. And what kind of message does that send to the fans that you're trying to say, hey, this is a real thing, this is a real team, and we're trying to empower, you know, we're trying to show that like women have the same amount of, I don't know how to really phrase this one, but we value them as much as the Warriors do. But let me tell you something. If the Warriors were in this situation, there is no chance that the Warriors are not playing this game at Chase Center. It would be preposterous. It's infuriating that this is what Chase Center and ownership and everybody involved in this is saying, is they do not have their priorities in order. And the Valkyries should be playing this game at home. And let me tell you something else. It's not just about the vibes or whatever. It's not like a stylistic choice. This is an actual thing that matters if you're trying to win a playoff game, damn it. If you're trying to win a whole playoff series, you need home court advantage. There's a reason that's a thing. There's a reason that teams try so hard to get higher seating so they can play in front of their home fans, to not just have the crowd noise be in their favor and to have momentum in their side as soon as the ball is, tipped off, but not have to travel and to be able to sleep in your own bed and to be able to be in a setting that's familiar. It's so much easier than having to go on the road and be in an unfamiliar setting in hostile territory and trying to play a basketball game. It's ridiculous. And the fans that you're trying to say, hey, why don't you come pay money, pay real money, pay pretty high prices to come see this basketball team, and you're saying, no, you're going to have to go to San Jose to a lesser stadium and watch them in their first ever playoff game. It's not like this is just some like random playoff game where it's like the Warriors who like make it every year, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna play the first round, the first game of the first or game three, the first round in a different stadium, just because there's, whatever. I mean, if you think about it, like it's happened before. Like teams aren't able to play. If you look at last year with the Rams, they had to play the wild card round in Arizona because their stadium was unavailable. But that's different because their stadium was unavailable because of a freaking wildfire that was ravaging their city. And they had to move. They had to play in Arizona. If you look at the Niners back in 2020, they had to move because of COVID regulations. They were physically unable to play in their stadium for both of these examples. And one was a playoff game, yes, but they had to move. And the Valkyries, they don't have to move. You can reschedule the tennis tournament. You can cancel it. Do something to prioritize your Valkyries, your basketball team that is having success in their first year. And this is the first ever playoff game at home for the Valkyries. Today is the first playoff game, yes, but at home is a different experience where you have the crowd and everything, and the fans can show their support and appreciation of how much the team means to them. And even if we don't win a single game, it's still going to mean something that we made the dance at all. And it's unbelievable that ownership and whoever's responsible for it, I'm pretty sure it's ownership. They definitely have a say in it. But whoever's in charge of this is not allowing the Valkyries to play their first playoff game at home. It's disrespectful, and it's quite frankly, it's wrong. And I'm very passionate about this. And I'm a very, very, very casual fan. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I watched like two games, and one of them was the game that we won to get into the playoffs. I have I couldn't name you the starting five, but this is how I feel about it. And if I'm so upset about it, imagine the diehard fans who are inspired by these women who go out there and are, breaking barriers and all this stuff. They're trailblazers, and you are prioritizing an indoor freaking tennis tournament over them and what they're doing and what they mean to a lot of people in the Bay Area and, in the whole state. You know, it's really hypocritical. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to say. I want to say shout out to cousin Mike for bringing that up. And yeah, it's let's move on, shall we? Let's move on to some predictions about how the Valkyries series are gonna go. And look, unbiased, just being honest, there's a very good chance they get swept. The Lynx are a very good team, and the Valkyries are not the Lynx, okay? Now, what I want to happen is for them to win the whole thing. Is that realistic? No. Reality, or if I had it my way, like a whole fantasy, Valkyries win in seven, and that's probably what would happen every series. But realistically, best case scenario realistically is Lynx in four. I mean Lynx in five rather, and then probably what's gonna happen is Lynx in four. So as long as we can win a game, that's an accomplishment. Kind of like the Broncos last year. Like, just making it was an achievement. And then they can build off of that. And this year it'd be nice to win one, maybe win two, maybe win a whole series. But every single game, every single good thing that they do is going to feel like we accomplished something, and that is good for the team, good for the city, and good for building off of that. And it's very rare for teams to have success in their first year. And just that in it by itself is a good sign. It's a good sign for the future of the team. And yeah, what a busy day we have going on. We have the Giants playing the Dodgers in a heated rivalry that actually means something this late into the year, halfway through September. That is fantastic. We have week 2 of the NFL season, the Niners going into the Superdome, and we have the Valkyries in their first ever playoff game. What an incredible Sunday this is going to be. And I'm very excited for it to get started, for the Valkyries to play, for the Niners to play, and for the Giants to play. It's going to be a great day. Go out and enjoy it, and I'll see you tomorrow.